All right. Hello, YouTube. My name is Alan, and it's time to talk a little heavy metal here. Wanted to take an opportunity to make sure folks are updated about some anticipated power metal albums being released during the summer of 2022. At any given time, there's tons of heavy metal being released, and it can be very difficult to keep up with everything that's coming out. So I wanted to make sure that folks are aware of some of the power metal. There's a lot of good ones that are about to get released. So if you're a fan of these bands or this style of heavy metal, this is something you'll want to keep an eye on so that you can pre-order it or go out and pick it up at your local store if they carry it on the day they get released. Won't be playing any clips since these are albums that officially aren't even out yet. Don't really have anything to play by them at this time, but they do have videos for some of the lead singles off of these albums. They are posted on YouTube, so you can easily check these out with just a few clicks of a button. Without further ado, let's see what we've got coming up in the next few weeks and months. First up is going to be album by Sweden's Seventh Wonder. This comes out on June 10th on the Frontiers record label. Seventh Wonder, this is going to be their 6th album and their 5th with vocalist Tommy Karavik, who is also the lead vocalist for Camelot in recent years since Roy Khan left the band. Seventh Wonder, it definitely has the Frontiers sound. If you're not familiar with the band, they lean into the more progressive side of power metal, but they do so in a very song-oriented fashion. This is not a band that's looking to just show off with complex musicality and allow the songs to get lost in the mix. Not whatsoever. Really strong songwriting skills, great musical performances, incredible lead vocals. Tommy's one of the best in the business, especially for this style. Frankly, I think he does even better with Seventh Wonder than Camelot. His voice just fits this style slightly better. So yeah, you've got the new Seventh Wonder album, The Testament, coming out in just about a week. Make sure you do check this one out if you like that style of heavy metal. The first couple of singles have been really great. Looking forward to a strong album. Seventh Wonder hasn't put out a lot of stuff in recent years. Tommy's obviously been preoccupied with Camelot's schedule, but Seventh Wonder has not been pushed completely to the side. They released Tiara a few years ago, and it looks like they've got a strong album coming out this summer as well. So checking out the band there, looking cool as always. All right, just 1 week after that, we have Seven Kingdoms with their 5th album called Zenith, being released on June 17th through Distortion Music Group. Seven Kingdoms is a power speed metal band from Florida. The name comes from George R.R. Martin's fantasy works. And Seventh Kingdoms is very much sort of an Americanized version of early Blind Guardian. So if you enjoy that faster side of fantasy-driven power metal, you'll probably like this band quite a bit. Lead vocalist Sabrina is quite good. She does not have the kind of power metal voice you typically associate with, other bands with a female singer, such as Nightwish or Lacuna Coil. She's got a tougher, more straightforward voice. They do a cover of a Joan Jett song on this album, and her voice is very good for tackling that kind of material. But yes, straightforward, no frills, great epic power metal. I've seen this band live opening for Blind Guardian. It was a very natural fit. They did a great job. They are operating as a 4-piece currently, so this photo is a little out of date. They currently don't have a permanent bass player listed on the lineup for Zenith. But again, the lead singles sounded really, really good. One of them, interestingly, has lyrics all about cryptocurrency, of all things. I don't know enough of the lyrics to know what angle that's coming from, if it's promoting cryptocurrency or downplaying it or warning about the potential pitfalls there. I have no idea, but yeah, the lyrics are definitely full of some of the catchphrases you get in the Bitcoin and NFT sub-world. So if you're into that stuff, you have a power metal song to check out. But again, excellent band and should be an excellent album. Looking forward to that one coming out on June 17th. All right, number 3 on our list. We got to wait until July 22nd for the debut album by CLEANBREAK, which is another release on Frontiers Records. This is listed, excuse me, CLEANBREAK is listed as being one word rather than two. So there's no break in the middle of CLEANBREAK, which is kind of ironic. It just occurred to me. Anyway, this is a new band. Most folks may not be familiar with it yet, but it's got a very interesting lineup. This is a project. Vocalist is James Durbin, who is probably best known from being the American Idol contestant who played with Judas Priest as, sort of, the guest appearance. I think it was, I don't know what season of American Idol. I don't pay attention to it, but I'm pretty sure it was in 2011 when Judas Priest backed him up for one of his Idol performances. He came in fourth that particular year. Since then, he's remained pretty busy. He was the lead vocalist for Quiet Riot for a couple of years. He's done a solo album for Frontiers. And with CLEANBREAK, he's kind of put together a little bit of an all-star lineup for this particular band. You have the amazing Mike Flintz on guitar from Riot V, and you have the rhythm section from Stryper. So a lot of talent, a lot of pedigree in the lineup of this band. This is one I was not really aware of, but my wife came across it on YouTube. They've got a video for the lead single, Coming Home. It's a really strong song. Flintz is absolutely on fire. The rhythm section sounds great. Again, I'm not very familiar with Durbin's prior works, but he sounds very good for this style of heavy metal. They're operating in a style somewhere between Riot V, but maybe closer to things like Master Plan, getting a little bit more of the sort of hard rock and AOR sound, but there's still plenty of metallic bite to enjoy here. So based on the lead single, sounds very promising. If the rest of the album is similarly good, CLEANBREAK should be a really great summer release coming out July 22nd. And finally, last but certainly not least, one of the true legacy bands for all of power metal, Blind Guardian, return with their 12th album on September 2nd, being released through Nuclear Blast. This one is going to be called The God Machine. Has some crazy good cover art, some kind of giant kaiju thing going on there. I don't know exactly what it is, but I like it. Blind Guardian have, of course, been around since the late 1980s. They're widely known as one of the most visible and most beloved power metal bands. That being said, they have not been very prolific in recent years. You tend to have a lot of years slip by in between releases. And to put it nicely, some of their releases during the past couple of decades have not been their strongest. I think most fans would agree that Blind Guardian were at their peak during the 1990s. And once you turn the calendar over into the 21st century, they've been a little hit or miss. Some of the albums are more enjoyable than others. They've focused more on sort of the orchestral and epic side of things. They've lost some of the speed that used to be a signature part of their sound. Their most recent release was more of an orchestral album, really kind of sans guitars present. I never even got around to listening to that whole album. It's quite long. But the first few singles they've released from The God Machine sound very, very strong. Some of them, such as Blood of the Elves, harken back to the early 90s, where they're putting their heads down and just blazing away with some real speed metal force involved. So this is getting a lot of people really excited to see what they're doing on this album. If that's just one or two tracks that are a little speedy and the rest of it's going to stick to the formula they've used in recent years, or if this is going to be a bit more of a tour de force like they had in their olden days. I think that would obviously please a lot of older fans for sure. Interestingly, the band is still operating without a full-time bassist. So you've got two of these four bands that need a bass player. Bass players, if you're into power metal, there are some high visibility openings out there in the power metal world. Get your resumes out there. Some bands apparently need a full-time bassist going on. But yeah, this one's coming out. Got to wait till about Labor Day, but it should be an interesting way to wrap up the summer with the new Blind Guardian album. Fingers crossed that it's going to be a real banger. This is one of my favorite bands of all time. But yeah, I do wish, their output in recent years had been a little more consistent and also a little more regular. Maybe they can get back on a pace of releasing albums more frequently than just, once every 5 years or so. All right, well, that is going to wrap it up here. Just a quick little informative video to make sure folks are on top of some of the big hyped power metal releases that'll be coming out in the next few months. Now, again, there's going to be lots of other great albums, power metal, and in other styles of heavy metal as well. So if there's something you're really excited about coming up in the next few weeks or months, please leave a comment down below so other people can be aware of it too. There's all kinds of stuff constantly coming out by bands people know and love, and they'll just slip by. For example, Germany's Morgan have a new album coming out, and early word is that it's quite good. It's a band I like quite a bit. I had no idea they were about to release something new. Mexico's The Chasm has just put out, another death metal album, and this one does have Corchado coming back and doing vocals, unlike their previous album, which was pretty much an instrumental affair. So yeah, lots of great stuff. If you know a great album that's about to be released, leave a comment down below so heavy metal fans near and far can also get the word and be on the lookout for all those cool new albums being released here in the middle of 2022. With that, let's wrap this on up. Everybody take care, and I will see you again soon.